Calling all crochet adventurers! Today we're conquering the chevron, that zigzag wonder that looks way more complicated than it actually is. Whether you're dreaming of stunning blankets or eye-catching scarves, this pattern is about to become your new bestie. Hi, I'm Tony of TL Yarn Crafts, and I'll walk you through every peak and valley with moves so smooth you'll feel like a crochet ninja. Now, grab your 6mm hook, choose your favorite worsted weight yarns, and let's create some yarny magic. Hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it for all the crochet inspiration you can handle. This video is one of many helpful tutorials to accompany the Crochet Amour sampler, a beautiful 20-block afghan that teaches new crochet stitches and techniques with every square. To get the row by row instructions for this square and find out how to make the entire sampler blanket, visit the link in the description. To make our chevron square, we're going to need 2 different colors of yarn. Today I'm using Lion Brand Lazy Days, and I'm using a Furls Bronze Streamline hook. So I'm going to start with my first color, make my slip knot, and I need to chain 29. So yarn over and pull through, making sure these chains aren't too tight because we will need to work into these later. So continue until you have 29 total chains. Meet me back here to start row 1. 28 and 29. Wonderful. So you can see my chains aren't too tight. I need those to stay nice and flexible like that. Now we're going to work on row 1, which is kind of our foundation. With chevrons, we create these peaks and valleys, but row 1 is going to help us have a nice even base to our project. So we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we've got the loop that's on our hook, does not count as a stitch. We've got the first chain just below that loop. So the second chain is right here. We're going to place a single crochet there. So insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to follow that with 1 more single crochet in this next stitch. And then we need to half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, pull up a loop in the next stitch, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and we're going to do that twice. Now we need to do 2 double crochets, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's our first double, and here's our second. We'll follow that with 2 trebles. So we're going to yarn over our hook twice, insert into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops, and 2 again. So we're just progressively making taller stitches here. And we need to do 2 trebles. So we're going to place a treble in the following stitch as well. So this is kind of the peak of our chevron. Now we're going to start going down again. So we're going to do 2 doubles and 1 in the following stitch, 2 half doubles, and we're going to follow that with 4 singles. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4 singles. All right, now let's go back up again. 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, 2 doubles, here's 1 and 2, followed by 2 trebles. There's 1 and 2. Then we're going to do 2 doubles, 1, 2, 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and we're going to finish with 2 singles. So we have 2 chains left, and each of those gets a single crochet. There's 1 and 2. And if you made it this far, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, you did it. You did a great job. So what we essentially did is we've got this nice clean base at the bottom of our work, but by changing the height of our stitches, we've started to create the base of our chevron. So we're going to have 2 peaks and 3 valleys. All right, let's move on to row 2. So for row 2, we start with a chain 3. And your starting chain 3 does count as your first double crochet of the row. Now we're going to turn our work. Since this counts as the first double crochet of the row, we're going to skip this stitch that's at the base of the chain. And we're also going to skip our next stitch as well. And we need to double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So we've got our starting chain 3, skip this stitch here at the base of the chain, skip the following stitch as well. And in this stitch here, we're going to place a double crochet and we're going to double in the next 3 as well. So we'll have our starting chain 3 and 4 more double crochet to start this row. Now we need to increase twice. And for our increase, we simply place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So the first one's here, 2 doubles go here, 1 and 2 down into that same stitch, just like that. And 2 doubles go into our next stitch. Here's 1 and 2. Well done. So now we're going to double in each of the next 4. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to decrease twice. So we've got our next 2 stitches here. We're going to double crochet 2 together over these 2 stitches. Here's how it goes. Yarn over your hook, pull up a loop in that next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We've got 2 loops on the hook. Now you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop in the following stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. So we've now turned 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Well done. So we need to double crochet 2 together 2 times. So there's our first one. And let's do the second one together as well. So yarn over, pull up a loop in that next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop in the following stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through all 3, just like that. And I do like to tighten my working yarn a little bit after I create those 2 together, just so there's not this big gap at the top. So let's move on. We need to double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet into each of those. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and 4. Now we need to do 2 increases. So here are our next 2 stitches, and each of those is going to get 2 double crochets. So 2 doubles in this first stitch. Nice. 2 doubles in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Now we need to double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to skip this next stitch here, and we're going to double crochet in our last stitch. So if it's a little tricky to find that, just kind of open your work, kind of twist it towards you. There's a single crochet right there, and that's where we need to put our last double crochet. We're also going to change color here. So I'm going to complete that double crochet until there are 2 loops left. I'm going to drop my purple and grab my pink. Now we're going to leave that purple attached to our work, and we're going to change color every 2 rows. So that purple will be sitting there waiting for me when I need it. So now we're going to move on to our pattern repeat, which starts in row 3. So we're going to chain 3 to start, turn our work, just like that. Just tighten everything down a little bit. We're going to skip the stitch here at the base of the chain, as well as the next stitch, double crochet in each of the next 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have our double increase. So 2 double crochets go into this first stitch, 1 and 2, 2 double crochet into the next stitch as well. There's 1 and 2. And now we're going to count 4 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we need to do 2 decreases. So remember, we yarn over to start, pull up a loop in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop in the following stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops here. Yarn over, pull up a loop in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop in the following stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So now we have 2 double crochet decreases right next to each other. 4 double crochet go next, 2, 3, 4, Now we're at one of our peaks. We're at one of our high points of our chevron. So that's where we have our double increase. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Great. Now we need to double crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, we're going to skip this next stitch and we need to double crochet in the top of our turning chain. So we're just going to grab the top of that chain 3 and place a double crochet there. Let's take a quick gander at our work so we can see that lovely chevron emerging. It's so very pretty. And honestly, the best way I can recommend to keep track of where you are in a chevron pattern is just to count every single stitch. That is my only advice in making sure you keep it going, because I know with chevrons, it is so easy to get off track. Your peaks don't line up, your valleys don't line up, but counting your stitches is what works for me. And I'm going to show you one other trick as well. So I've done my chain 3, I've turned my work, and from here through the rest of your square until your very last row, you're just working this 1 row repeat. So we chain 3, skip the stitch at the base of the chain as well as the next stitch, and we double crochet in each of the next 4. There's 2, 3, and 4. So here's the little trick that I like to do just to have this visual representation of where I am. So I did my 4 double crochets, and you can see now that I am right on top of my 2 increases from the previous row. So I need to place my increases for this row on the 2 inner stitches of the increase from the previous row. So here's 1, 2 stitches here. This is the first increase. 1, 2 stitches here. There's a second increase. So I'm going to grab the 2 inside stitches, and as long as my increases go into these 2 stitches, I know I'm in the right place. So I'm going to place my increases. So here's the first stitch that I'm increasing in. There's 1 and 2 stitches. Here's the next stitch I'm increasing in. 1 and 2. So we can do a similar trick for the decreases as well. So I've placed my 2 increases. Now I need to double crochet 4. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4. There we go. So now, looking at my decreases, remember that for the decreases, we turn 2 stitches into 1. So I can see my 2 decreases here because those stitches are just a little bit wider. So here's the first decrease, and there's the loops at the top of that decrease. Here's the second decrease, and there are the loops at the top. So I need my decreases from the previous row to be part of my decreases on this row. So I'm grabbing the decrease stitch and 1 stitch beyond it. And here I'm going to grab the decrease and 1 stitch beyond it. So if my decreases are falling right here, I know I'm in the right place. Okay. So I'm going to grab my first stitch and the decrease for my double crochet 2 together. So this is the first half of the decrease. And then I'm going to grab my decrease and 1 stitch beyond it for the other half of that decrease. I just hope that makes sense for somebody, because that's the way that it makes sense in my head. Okay, now we follow that with 4. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. And then I'm going to check. I'm right on top of my increases from the previous row. So I need my 2 inside doubles, and that's where my increases go. So the first one goes here. There's 1 and 2. Second increase goes here. There's 1 and 2. Now from here, I'm going to count 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And remember, to end the row, we're going to skip the next stitch. So this one right here, double crochet in the top of the turning chain. Looks like I'll grab the back this time. And remember, we're changing color again. So when I have 2 loops left on my hook after that double crochet, I'm going to drop the pink and grab the purple, making sure that I don't pull that up too tight. I want it to just rest nicely against the side of my work. And then we start with the chain 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. So we can see that our chevron pattern is established. I'd like you to continue in pattern until you get to the very last row. I'm going to add a bit more fabric onto my swatch as well. And when you're ready, join me back here and we're going to even out the top of our chevron. Okay, I'm coming to the end of my last full row that I'm gonna do here. So I'm gonna change color and I'm gonna move on to my final row. I'm just gonna chain up 2 really quick, but I wanna show you where we are, kind of what this looks like. So when you have an even number of rows, we're actually looking at the back of the work or the wrong side. This is what the right side looks like. Now, technically they are identical, so you can choose whichever you want to be your right side or your wrong side. This is what I've decided is my right side. So I'm gonna flip over here, and to start that very last row in the pattern, it's row 17. I need to start with a chain 4, and that chain 4 counts as my first treble crochet. So come a little closer, let's do this last row together. So I've chained up 2 already. I just need to chain 2 more. And remember that counts as our first treble crochet. I'm going to now turn my work, get that purple out the way. And now I'm going to skip the stitch here at the base of my work. And I'm gonna double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So here's 1 and 2. I'm gonna follow that with 2 half double crochets. There's 1 and 2. Then 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're gonna notice that those 4 singles went into the 4 stitches of the increase from the previous row. So this is one way to kind of orient yourself as you were doing this last row here. So those were my 4 singles. Now we need to do 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, 2 doubles, 1 and 2, and 2 trebles. So remember, you yarn over twice. You're gonna notice that our 2 trebles go into the decreased stitches from the previous row. So here's 1 and 2. Nicely done. 2 doubles go next. 1 and 2. 2 halves. 1 and 2. 4 singles. Again, we're working those over the increased stitches from the previous row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we've got 2 halves. 1 and 2, 2 doubles, 1 and 2, and now we're at our turning chain and we're going to place a treble in the top of that turning chain, just like that. And when we lift our loop up and out, you can see we've got a nice clean edge across the top here. Now you can add a border to this square, and also blocking is going to help this be completely even across the top. But wow, does that not look lovely? And I really like that we can put that nice base on the top and the sides, so we have something that's more like a square. And we could easily turn this into a baby blanket or panels for a sweater, or honestly, whatever you want it to be. Again, make sure you follow those tips. If you're having trouble with chevrons, it's all math, it's all counting, but doesn't it turn out so gorgeous? So it is totally worth it. Thank you so much for following this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.